Mayor Dickens, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. How are you feeling? We're coming up on your 100th day in office as mayor. Was it what you expected? How are you feeling?
I feel great. I feel like the city is moving in the right direction. I am excited about our team. My team is coming to their own, and we've been making significant hires, and the city is on, seems to be energized and excited. Spring is here. A lot of things that we've done in the first 90 days have taken notice, and I feel good. I feel good overall.
Yeah, how would you define your first 100 days? What are the themes that you say kind of have emerged there?
Well, busy, but really it's been about really just digging in. And I say the first 90 days have been really about getting out into all aspects of the community, sharing my vision, receiving feedback and input, making sure people get their quick, low-hanging expectations taken care of, like callbacks and accessibility, working with the city council, working with the state and county leadership. So being accessible, being very forthright about how I envision the city being an equitable place, one that we all thrive and work together. It's been well received. So now it's been actually pretty good that every day is really a day that we must win that day. And then you wake up the next day and win the next day. And it's always consistent with who I am as a person.
Mayor Dickens, can you tell us a little bit about what's a typical day look like for you as the 61st mayor? How does your day begin? When you wake up, what time do you go to bed? Who do you usually talk to on a daily basis?
Yeah, so 3 out of 4 mornings I wake up and I go to the gym, the regular city gym right across the street here. They pick me up in the morning, we go to the gym, work out 45 minutes to an hour. I, get dressed here and start my day. Every morning I talk to the police chief, myself, the COO, Lisa Gordon, and Chief Bryant, talk about what happened the day before, what are our plans for this day, any significant things that we have to overcome, challenges, et cetera. And then it's just off to the races of, about 12 meetings or appointments or events a day. A normal day might have 3 announcements. It might be doing something with Invest Atlanta, something with a park like today, something at a school, and then something dealing with our employees, whether that's going to a fire station, a police station, a Department of Transportation, facility to look at equipment or talk to workers. So each day is just ongoing, and then I got you guys every now and then in the middle of that day. It might be 30 minutes here or there, phone call. And then you get into community time. In the evenings, it's usually, this group of individuals, whether they're an association, a nonprofit, or some group of some type, some church, some organization. Those happen in the evenings as people get off work. So I got to hit a few of those. And then I get, in there, they give me like minutes to eat. And usually at those later events, there's food. So I get to, try to eat. Nobody lets me eat. They want to take pictures. So we pack up the food. And I get home at about 9:30, and then I eat. And then I can have those phone calls that throughout the day, people have said, I just need 15 minutes. One of the most, I wouldn't say surprising things, but the most frequent thing is, I know you're busy, but can I get 15 minutes? If you're on mute was the phrase of 2020, can I get 15 minutes with you? I know you're busy, but can I get 15 minutes? And so I pick up those 10, 15 minute, about 3 or 4 of those around the 9 to 10 p.m. time frame. And then I try to shut it off and kind of just be a person at home until midnight. And then midnight I get into bed and go to sleep and try to get back up and do it all over again.
So in regards to the violent crime wave we're in right now, obviously folks are wondering what can be done to address this gun violence, especially as we're now seeing this recent trend of homicide victims being young people, being children. How can we get that sort of thing under control?
Yeah, if anything concerns me most is how people haven't began to de-escalate their issues, to resolve conflicts. It's tearing at me at the core because of who I am as someone who really believes in folks and really thinks that my faith guides me, the morality of people, the humanity of things, and to see people, take a bowling ball dispute and it ends in murder, or an issue over some, small infraction at a club or a bar, or a dispute out, at someone's home, domestic issues. These things concern me. And so while we're working on public safety from a police standpoint, from a, 311 diversion and those issues, we really are still just talking about conflict resolution and violence reduction, anti-retaliation. After these incidents happen, making sure that we give people outs. How do you not go to the finality of an issue by pulling out a gun and shooting folks? We're spending time on that, and that was what Peace Week was about. That literally just came from my soul. I was saying, hey, if we can just tell people how to affirm themselves, how to see themselves as part of community, how to learn how to have conflict resolutions. We did healing circles. We went to apartment complexes where there had been murders or issues of violence in the past. We talked to the leaders of those communities, trusted folks in those communities, as well as leasing offices, landlords. We've gone to clubs, which is why I'm standing up this nightlife division. So we're trying to get to the root causes of some of these crimes and violence. And the thing that does, the rest of the crime is coming down. Car theft is down, break-ins are down, these type of things. Our crime numbers are coming down, but homicides are still on the too high for me and too high for our citizens. And so we're spending a lot of time on that. And then as it relates to gun violence with gangs, and we've really stood up our repeat offenders task force so that we're going to get these folks out of the community that are really stirring up a lot of trouble, and that they've just decided that their life is going to be filled with crime, and we're saying not on these streets.
You mentioned the nightlife division. Could you shed some light on what that's going to look like, how it'll work, how many people it might involve staffing-wise, when it might be stood up? Yeah, tell us a little more.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this. And the reason why is because nightlife is a significant part of who we are. I mean, we have conventions is a big part of our economy, sports, entertainment is just a part of who we are. And Atlanta is just different. We don't have a Bourbon Street where it's just one place where people go. You have like 10, 12 districts in Atlanta where partying is happening, restaurants, bars, lounges. And that's unique, and people love that about us. People that live here and visitors, they find it attractive. And so we want to make sure that this division is about how to do entertainment the right way, staffing people that are well-trained and well-prepared to handle conflicts, but also how to manage people's overindulgence, if they're getting too drunk, over-intoxication, how do you manage that? The doorman, the bouncers, everybody in the club environment, managing the parking lots, the inside and the surroundings of our nightlife. Even the environment from lighting and cameras are all a part of what the nightlife division. So when I say 10,000 lights and light up the night, some of those are going to be strategically located within our nightlife corridors.
So when you became mayor, even before you became mayor, you discussed how you wanted to put Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant on a 100-day contract, right? Just to assess how he's doing, and if you want to keep him going forward into your administration. Could you talk to us a little bit about what do you think? How you think he's been performing, and do you think you're going to keep him, or are you going to start a search for a new police chief?
Yeah, so this is one of the most frequently asked questions around Police Chief Bryant. And, what's interesting about it is, I was the first and only candidate to say I was going to put him on a 100-day contract. And we're at day like 92, 93. So we have 7 more days on that contract. And, I'm an engineer. So I'm data driven. And so I see some places where crime has moved into, it's being reduced in some areas, and in some instances of crime, we're making good progress. And then some areas of concern are still our homicides and acute areas around the city where I think we need to do more enforcement and crack down on some things. And so we talk about those each morning, and I've been, very forthright with him about where we are in the process. So I think, next week is the 100th day. So you guys come talk to me on that date and you'll see where we are. But in the meanwhile, you'll hear some announcements forthcoming in the next couple of days around some great moves that we're going to be making in the police department this week in advance of what's going to happen next week.
We're going to hold you to that next week. We're going to be checking in.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about the People's Town neighborhood. And for those who don't know, and of course you do, but that's the neighborhood in Southeast Atlanta where there's a few residents on one block where the city, under the Reed administration, used eminent domain to demolish a bunch of homes because they wanted to build a retention pond there. A few residents wanted to keep their homes, stay in their homes. They're still there. They've been in a legal fight in the city for years. Right. This is something that you promised to tackle within your first 100 days. I want to see where do things stand with that? Because you said you want to help those people stay in their homes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a significant issue right now that has come from two administrations into this administration. So it's a long-standing issue. And so I've met with those families. I've met with them a couple of times, and some of their intermediaries, some of their advocates and supporters. So it's one of those things where I was committed to making sure that there was an eviction order, and I didn't think that an eviction should occur in these cold months while we're dealing with a number of other housing challenges, homelessness issues, and these people deserve to have their city make sure that we take care of them in the proper way. And so I've been, having tons of meetings and working on, progress towards a solution that I think all will be satisfied with. This is such a complex issue. I can tell you, it's already been, about 10 years in the making. So it's just tough, and it takes a lot to work through it. But I also want to make sure that we are aware that there's a number of stakeholders in this issue, from the people that live on that land to the folks that surround that land to the city's need and requirement to reduce the flooding in that whole area. So I would say this has been one of the more difficult parts of being mayor, is just making sure that you do things strategically but delicately, because there are some sensitivities in this matter that are, long going and, still worth my attention.
Mayor Dickens, when we talk to folks, and even obviously when we're following you around, it goes without saying that you have a lot of energy, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like you're like almost everywhere, man. And so one thing, you even mentioned that Ebenezer Baptist Church on MLK Day in January. I think you said that your administration is in like this honeymoon phase, and which is interesting because I've never been married, but obviously what you meant by that was people are still getting to know you. You're still getting to adjust to this role. So a lot of people are. I don't want to use infatuated with you, but there is this energy that it may only be temporary because you are the new mayor. How will that, so this is a two-pronged question. What is the motivation behind this high energy that you have to be active and present everywhere? And after this honeymoon phase ends, how do you think this energy of yours will affect your relationships with people down the road when you do have to make those tough decisions?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of energy. And for me, it's about love. And so love, my pastor has always said, love ought to look like something. It ought to look like it. And for me, my love for Atlanta, it makes me want to be with Atlanta 24 hours a day, want to help Atlanta, want to solve the problems. And when I say Atlanta, I'm talking about Atlanta and the people of the city. And so my energy comes from love. It comes from that same love that you have when you just love on this person, you stay on the phone all night and you got to see them the next morning, and then you want to have lunch with them, want to have dinner with them. That's me in this city. It is all day ongoing love affair. And so when you see me out at 12 events and running back and forth and having meetings with people. I'm present of mind in each of those encounters that this may be the only interaction they have ever had with the mayor. This may be the only interaction that they've had with somebody who shares their love with the city. And I am, high-fiving kids, hugging grandmas, and I'm also making sure that our city employees know that we are in the business of serving this city together, that I won't be outworked by any human on this earth. And so my honeymoon is one filled with love, and I'm gonna let it last for as long as forever. Let it last as long as y'all have me. And so I'm keeping it going. And we hit 100 days. 101 is another day of love with the ATL.
And as we wrap up, is there anything you weren't able to get to in these first 100 days that you now want to tackle? And kind of on that same note, anything else that we can expect moving forward coming up soon in terms of your priorities for this first year?
Yeah, I mean, I have done a whole lot of making sure that in each area that I think is absolutely critical for the first 100 days, it's on the table and we've looked at it at least. And we've started, whether that's a team to work on it or the 100-day, transition team, which is a significant group of 40 people across the city that are giving me input. We're gonna have their report in your hands once it's done. So I've been, really getting a lot of feedback and input on all areas. Now, my penchant for doing is, reports are good, data and analysis is occurring, and some areas we have been able to do, like money for small businesses, like, solving issues related to crime and public safety, like, things that we're announcing around early childhood education, partnerships with APS, stopping Buckhead. So we've had a substantial number of things that we've done. So I haven't got a chance to count anything that we haven't done, but I know anything that is out there is already on the table, and we're working on a strategy and a plan to get it done.
Anything else?
No, I'm encouraged by our relationship with the press, encouraged by the amount of times we get a chance to see each other. This is my solutions for Atlanta involves the press. It involves the clergy. It involves nonprofits. It involves business and schools. So everybody's got a role to play to be able to hit these really aggressive, outstanding goals that I have. And I think that everybody's playing their role, and I'm excited by it. I'm gonna do my job for sure.
We appreciate it all.
We'll do the same.
Thanks so much, Mayor Dickens. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.